Welcome, my friends. This is the final partner demo from Qualified Tutor of 2023. And it's been an absolute joy to have the opportunity to meet so many passionate founders. And Chris is absolutely one of those. Chris and I have been speaking for the last few weeks about how to support tutors. And I'm thoroughly impressed with his commitment to making sure that he's delivering the best experience for tutors and their students. So this conversation is going to be about a few things. It's going to be about the EdHead study tool. It's going to be about a few further benefits that Chris has for tutors and for working with tutors. I think it's going to be really exciting, and there's going to be a lot to learn. Chris, be warned, I will interrupt you with questions throughout because that
Please
makes
do.
all a lot more fun. Yvonne has just arrived in the room, so that's lovely. Please, will you share screen and share with us all about EdHeads and your support services for tutors, please?
Okay. Well, we've been working in the tuition and learning support business since about 2009, although EdHeads is a new company started in June of this year. Prior to that, I worked in IT for centuries, and it's sort of a combination of those sorts of things that brings EdHeads together. I'm talking three parts today. First being about how tutors can engage with us and what we do that's different from other organizations that work with tutors. The second part will be about the study program that we provide for students and for tutors to use with their students. And the third part will be about the extra benefits we provide to tutors and indeed to the families of students that they are tutoring. So without further ado, first thing, we run a directory, and registration for tutors to be promoted through us is free. We don't charge you to register. We don't charge any agency fee. We don't charge any directory fee to users. We put your name up on our website. We promote our services electronically and physically. And when we receive an inquiry, we will point them in the direction they'll have had a chance to look at you by registering on our site and have a chance to look at you. And we get an inquiry about you. We pass it on to you to deal with the student family directly. And just to reiterate, we don't take any of the money that you are getting from your families. Next is this benefits rewards scheme that we run. This is available to all subscribers to EdHeads. So EdHeads has a service which has a study program, which is national curriculum compliant, covers a lot of subjects, as you'll be seeing later. And as part of that membership, which as a standard price only costs £2.40 a week, includes membership of Shop to Learn. Shop to Learn is actually an employee benefit scheme, which we have made available to our subscribers and to our tutors. And for tutors, there is actually, but they can get the classic, which is the study program with Shop to Learn at £1.80 a week using this code here, EH20. And if you're a member of Qualified Tutor, you can get it for 80 pence a week for yourself. But for your students, you get this £1.80 discount deal for them. But for yourself, that means you can have access to study program to make use of that if you wish, but also to get the benefit savings scheme, which you'll see later, at only 80 pence a week. Next thing we do for you as tutors, as I've said, we do free marketing. So we're marketing our subscription service to our study program. And as part of that, we're obviously promoting the fact that we have a directory of tutors. So when you join, you will be benefiting from that marketing that we do. I'd like to think that we make your life easier in tuition by the use of the study program. You can judge that for yourselves in a minute when I'm showing it to you, but I strongly believe that it does make life easier for you and better for the student and better for the people who are paying for it as well. And it also makes it easier to do group tuition sessions, whether online or in a physical place. And just to reiterate again, no fees. We do not charge fees to families for finding tutors. We don't charge you any fees for engaging as tutors. So when our members who are using our study program look for a tutor and find you, we don't charge anything for that. That's between you and them, what you're charging, what they're paying. So that's the end of the first bit. Any questions?
Yeah, sorry, Chris, what are the fees?
For
Hi, Shalini. I'm just going to mute you. You're very welcome here. It just was disruptive to have the background noise. Chris, I was joking. There's no fees.
Correct.
Got it. Keep going.
Okay, so let's have a look at the study program that our students use. As I said, it's national curriculum compliant. Our view on learning support of any sort is that there are a couple of elements that make for more success. The first of those is motivation. And it's important that a student is motivated, because if they're not motivated, they won't be engaged, and then a lot of time will be wasted trying to get anything working. Part of that motivation is setting the level correctly for the student's work. So, a student may be in year 5, but if they're not at year 5 level, actually making life difficult for yourself trying to teach them year 5 work, it's better to start at the level that they're at and work upwards from there. So when we register students, we register them at the level that they're at. We have assessments that they can do to help that process of finding what level they're at. But if it's a year 5 student who's a year 3 level, we'll give them year 3 work. Conversely, if it's a year 5 student at year 7 level, we'll give them year 7 work as well. Because if the work's too difficult, they'll get demotivated because it's a struggle, too much of a struggle. If the work's too easy, the same will happen. So each student has their own login to the study program, and that ties in with a student profile which sets work for them to do in maths and English every week in our weekly tasks. We understand that students want to focus on one subject more than another. They can elect to have no weekly tasks at all if they wish, but our general principle is that maths and English being the sort of bedrock subjects from which all other things really spout, it is worth doing work in maths and English every week as a form of practice and actually as a form of diagnostic tool to find out where there might be problems. Maths and English can be set at different levels. So a student may be at year 5 maths, but at year 2 English, for example. Our study program goes from year 1 up to GCSE, and we have a whole range of subjects available for the students to do practice, revision exercises with. In maths, English, and science, we have exercises to do and lessons to watch. In the other subjects, it is just exercises to do. As they're doing their work, that produces information in the reports area, the study program. The reports area is available to the family to look at, for the student to look at, for you, the tutor to look at, to see how things are going. Here's a Key Stage 3 student, year 9. So you can see there's some other subjects here that they can do work in. And this percentage number over here is the average score, averaged over all the work they've done in that subject. As I say, parents have access to this information as well. And in addition to that, we send out an email for each student, which gives a summary of the work done the week before. How you wish to make use of those reports is up to you. If you want them sent to you so that you can then share them with parents, that's fine. Or if you want them sent directly to the parent, that's equally fine. You just tell us which email address to send it to, and we get sent automatically to that email address at the beginning of each week as a summary of the work done the week before. It's something that's been really popular with parents. They really like the reports that we provide because it's an objective and transparent view of what's going on. as well as being helpful to you, as you'll see. Within a subject, so I can click on this maths one here, what I can look at now is how the student's doing at topic level. And this is where it becomes useful as a diagnostic tool for you. It also has another beneficial side effect, which is instead of a student seeing themselves as being, I'm rubbish at maths, they can actually see here that there are things that they're quite good at, things that they're okay at, and things where they need help. So it helps to change the mindset of I'm rubbish at maths to being actually there is stuff I'm good at, stuff I'm all right at, and stuff that I need help with. So it gets rid of that sort of feeling of I'm not going to bother with maths because I'm rubbish at it. From your point of view as tutors, obviously it's helping you to diagnose where to do the work, where to focus the tuition, because it's helping you to determine which topic it is that a student needs help with. So you're not going to waste your time working on something you're already okay at. And again, from a family's point of view, they have access to this information so they can see exactly what's going on in real time. Now, within a topic, so if I click on this one here, I can now see a progress chart for that topic, and that obviously applies to all of the topics that there's exercises done by the student. And again, this is helpful to you as tutors because it's seeing that whether progress is being made. If it's flatlining or going in the wrong direction, then you know that there's something else that you need to be doing to help the student. And again, obviously, it's good for parents to be able to see progress being made. But it helps you to pick up on things. So why did this blip down here happen? So I can click on the top line here, which is represented by that last point on the graph, and have a look at which questions the student's getting right and which ones they're getting wrong. Because again, from a diagnostic point of view, this is going to help you. But it's going to help you focus. But if I can pick up on any patterns, whether it's a type of question that's causing a problem, or in this illustration, a particular part of the topic that's causing a problem. So this student in BidMass is getting everything right except anything to do with indices. So that means you as a tutor know where to focus. Again, it's making the best use of your time and the best use of the student's time by analyzing where they actually need the help and helping you just to focus in that way. Now, of course, the other way in which it's helping you, study program, is that we're very rich in content. We have over 500,000 questions in all of the subjects. And for each topic, there is a pool of questions so that when a student does an exercise, it's not like with a printed page exercise where you've got to have a lot of different ones of that to give enough variety to a student who needs to practice a lot in the same topic. Otherwise, they just learn the answer to question 3. With us, an exercise is created at random from the pool of questions at the time they select to do an exercise, which means that it's more or less statistically impossible they're going to see the same questions in the same order. They may see one or two of the same questions crop up, but as I say, they'll never see the same questions in the same order when they do an exercise. In addition to the weekly tasks, the student has access to the practice exercise area over here. And I'll just give a quick view of what we've got. So at Key Stage 4, we look at everything, all of the subjects we've got questions in, you'll see that there's quite a lot that comes with it. And that subscription of £2.40 is the standard price, gives them access to all of this to use 24/7. So you see we have quite a lot of content here. And they can go wherever they like within the practice exercise area to use it as they may need to. So maybe they've got a history test next week and they want to test themselves on the tutors, or maybe working on indices. So go and do some extra work on indices at the direction of you, the tutor. Or maybe they had a lesson that week that they didn't understand in class, and they can go and watch a lesson in that topic so they can get refreshed on it to before the next time at school. As I say earlier on, I spoke about motivation. So we like to make the work more engaging to do, more fun to do. So I've gone into math here in Key Stage 2, and this is all of the topics in Key Stage 2 available. The numbers and the colors, that comes from the reports area. And just to point out, we wouldn't expect to see a student with all of these red things here, which means that they're averaging under 40%. This is just a demo account where people go in and do 1 or 2 questions. So the scores are always very low. But when we're doing an exercise, the student can elect to play a game alongside it to make it more engaging, to make it more fun. When the student first gets their login, the games are locked. So if they want to play a game alongside it, they have to earn credits, and they earn credits by doing work. So each game typically takes about 200 credits to open it up. And that's one of the motivation areas. I want to play the cricket game. I need 200 credits to do that. So I've got to do some work to open up that game. I'm going to stress that that you can't play a game by itself. The game is not there just to play by itself. It is there to accompany doing the exercise and the topic you've chosen. You don't have to play a game. You can do the exercise without the game over here. So just to show you how it works, we'll do penalty shootout. So you can see it's a perfectly normal question and it has nothing to do with football. So the game is not related to the exercise and the exercise isn't related to the game. The student can choose to play any sort of game with any exercise. So I type in my answer, which I'm guessing is 198, and I check the answer. Of course, it marks it for you, so all of the marking's taken away. You don't need to do any of that stuff. And then the student gets a bit of the game to play. The games are simple. They're not meant to be deeply immersive. They're meant to be just engaging and light to just make it more fun to do the work. So I got a bit of the game to play, and now I've got another question. If I get it wrong, check the answer. It tells me I got it wrong, of course, and I still get the game to play because this is about engaging the student, not rewarding the student. You've got a student who's struggling, you don't want them going to get to play the game. It's about engaging them. It does actually make the game a bit more difficult to do for the student, but it is still possible to score. And if you get something wrong, you can either retry or get it to tell you the answer. So I think that's shown how the exercise works. There's a vast choice of games to go along with the exercise to suit all tastes. Tells me what I scored and what credits I earned, which I can put towards either playing around my avatar or towards opening up another game. And the last bit of motivation that we have is leaderboards for the games. So here's the overall leaderboards, and this is something that motivates them because they want to move themselves up the leaderboard, but they tend to want to do it within the game that they like playing or games that they like playing. So they can see their position within the game. And here I am at the top and others following on behind. Okay, that's the way that the study program works. There are lessons to watch as well in maths, English, and science, as I've said, and that's from year 1 to GCSE. I'm not going to open up and show them now. They are vanilla in style deliberately because we want them to be age neutral. And the format of them is an explanation of the topic, followed by, where appropriate, 2 or 3 examples of how questions would be answered using that topic. It's not a talking head, it's a voice over a whiteboard. So if I pause there to field any questions that there might be.
I think you've pulled out some really, really helpful points here, Chris, that I remember from the first time that we met. I think your point about having age-neutral resources is really, really powerful, because a child who is 12 years old and working at year 3 level doesn't want to see cartoon characters. And I also think that your point about having games for engagement but not as rewards is a really powerful insight also. So congratulations on both of those. Emanuela, you asked a question about who pays. And firstly, right at the beginning, Chris made a very, very strong point that the tutor doesn't pay around here. So Chris, do you want to explain what the model is, please?
Yeah, actually, what I'll do is I'll go to our website. Our, that's our study website. You'll notice that there's no promotional material associated with the study website. And again, that's deliberate. When children are going to do their work, I don't want them bombarded with adverts which are not appropriate to that at all. So we have a separate promotional site, which is this one here. And our model is different to, I think, most people's, certainly in relation to the way we relate with tutors. So there's a subscription, and the basic subscription Ediheads Classic gives access to the study program, gives free membership of Shop to Learn, which I'll be talking about in a second, and it's £2.40 a week. For members of QT, they can get one. For members of QT, they can get one of these at 80 pence a week, and that will also give them membership of Shop to Learn, which you're going to see in a second. And in addition to that, your students, if you want to pay for your students, you can and embed that within your price, or you can pass it on to the customer, and you get there's a discount code which gives your customers the price at £1.80 per week instead of £2.40, and that will include obviously membership of Shop to Learn as well for them. Now, if you want to pay for that, that's fine, or if you want the family to pay for it, equally fine. Makes no difference to us which way you want to do it. In terms of the email reports, if the customer's paying, they will be sent directly to the customer. If you're paying, obviously they get sent to you for you to control what they see and how they see that weekly report. But the weekly reports are actually a really popular part of what they get. In terms of your engagement with us as a tutor, we charge you nothing. You can register with us and you can get onto our directory. When we're promoting, what we're promoting is Edheads Classic, and there's a plus version which has got a bit more to it. But that's what we're promoting on our service. But we're promoting also the fact that they can engage with tutors. So they can look at the tutor directory. So we have tutor directory here, for example. If I look at the years 1 to 9, so you can be on here. They can look through that, choose who they want to talk to. They then tell us, and we put you two in contact with each other. And you set your price according to what you want to set. We take nothing from it. Equally, we don't charge directory access to the parents. Of course, we are charging them the £2.40, or if it's £1.80, £1.80 a week, but that's not just for access to the directory, which is still a lot less than a lot of the directories charged to parents. It's actually for use of the study program and Shop to Learn. And does that answer the question? I should stop there and ask that.
Emanuela.
I think it mostly does. Just one point to clarify. So if I wanted to have each of my students on this, and you say I wanted to pay, I would have to pay for each account.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's £2.40 per account per student.
You would get £1.80 because you can use the discount code.
Sure. Makes sense, so.
But so if they looked up to see what it costs, they'd be thinking you're paying £2.40 for it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think, Chris, I think a point that we haven't quite explored yet, that I found really, really powerful about EdHeads is the value to a tutor of having a study program to lean on, and working in conjunction with a study program. So for me, there's a few things. Firstly, it saves on planning. Secondly, you have this powerful diagnostic tool. And thirdly, the student can continue to work in between sessions, possibly on a program that you plan for them, or possibly to work independently. Because just before we started this presentation, Chris, you shared with me that students tend to continue using the study program even in off-peak times or during holidays.
Yep.
You want to explore some of that for us, please? Because those are really, really compelling points for a tutor.
Okay. The most obvious thing I think is the content, the fact that we've got a lot of questions. We all know that a lot of parents always say, do you have some more work they can do during the week? So it answers that question. Yeah, they've got access to this 24/7. One of the drawbacks of giving extra work for them to do is, firstly, you've got to find the work for them to do. And secondly, someone's got to mark it for it to be of any value. If it's not being marked, what's the point of doing it? So it gets marked for you. It provides the reports to the parents, which is very valuable to them and valuable to you in the diagnostic way that I've shown. So I would argue very strongly that what this does is free you up totally to just teach, because everything else is there for you, laid out, I think, in a logical way, because it just follows the national curriculum with all the topics by year, which you can do. You can search by year as well for the topics. So in all of those respects, it makes life easier. The fact that it's a subscription payment that's done automatically, so when someone signs up, it's an automated recurring payment on a debit or credit card. There's also the element that people don't think they're following the school year. Now, I argue very strongly against the school year as being a good thing educationally. It's rubbish. The fact that we've got 6 or 8 weeks, depending if you're a private or state school in the summer, is down to the 19th century needs of the agricultural industry, because that's when young people were used in the harvesting. So I know a lot of teachers would argue against my point, but the truth is, educationally, it doesn't make sense to stop for a long period of time because you get learning loss. So having that, having the study program going over and continuing as a tutor, you can choose to say, actually, for the next 2 weeks, I'm away, but carry on with that because we can pick up on it later. Or if they want to stop for the 8 weeks or 6 weeks of summer, you can make the argument, say, look, it's actually really good just to keep their hand in, because learning loss is a real thing, just to keep their hand in by doing the weekly tasks every week, because that's a good thing to do. And that retains them as a customer for you, even if it's at a lower price and you're not actually benefiting from the tuition. But if someone wants to drop out of tuition and you're not providing anything else, you've lost them as a customer. You actually have to win them back in the September time when they come back. And that means you're actually asking them to make a choice to start again. Whereas if they've been keeping it going, it's just a question of then, right, let's start the tuition again now. So I think there are a number of benefits in the way that the study program helps tutors. And the most obvious one is the fact that we've got all of that content, and the lessons aren't sufficient in themselves to for a student to really do it all by themselves. It's not designed that way. It's designed to give them a bit of help on, oh, we did something on Pythagoras today, I didn't really understand it, I can watch a lesson. But the intervention of the tutor in what we provide is actually the key element to making it really effective. The fact that the reports are such a useful diagnostic tool for the tutor to be able to hone in on exactly where a student needs help. The other thing that we found is that when we explain to parents what we do, they totally get it. They understand that, hey, there's a method here that is transparent. I can see what's going on, and I'm paying for it, so I want to see what's going on. It means I can question things with the tutor, and I actually don't have to be with the tutor to do that. So you also escape that end of the tuition session grabbing a few seconds or minutes with you to try and explain what's going on. You say, if you've got any question, have a look at the reports area, and we can discuss it over the phone whilst we're both looking at it together. So it actually does enable you to provide, we believe, a better service, but actually much easier for you. Sorry, did I go on a bit too long about that?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely nailed it. I would love to know whether or not there are any more questions before we move on. We have discussed 11 plus in the chat. David's been fielding questions for you.
There is 11 plus content there. It's obviously, by the nature of it, it has to be generic, unfortunately, because there are different, people have their own exams, people have different sources for the exams, but it has the generic elements of verbal and non-verbal reasoning and the different types of question that turn up as different exercise types, if you like, so you can build your lessons around doing the 11 plus tuition with practice exercises available for you to do that. Is that all right on 11 plus?
Yeah, absolutely. And now Rachel has a question about online platforms. So are there any integrations with online platforms that that tutors can expect? Or do you suggest that they use their own platform?
Um, in my introduction, I said I've been working in computing a lot of my life, and around year 2000, I did a lot of work in desktop sharing. I was involved in a company that was really at the leading edge of that, and what I learned from that is the important element of any desktop sharing is that the communications part of it works. I don't care how many bells and whistles something's got in whiteboards and all sorts of fancy doohickeys, as the Americans would say. It just doesn't matter. What matters is you don't want to spend the first 10 minutes trying to figure out why Jonathan's connection isn't working or why he's not seeing the screen. And there are all sorts of reasons why a lot of platforms have problems. And it's because they test in an environment of perfect networks rather than with someone who's still using a very old version of Windows or has got a rubbish broadband connection, or the rest of the family are downloading and streaming movies at the same time. Those are the things that affect desktop platforms. And the best one is the one we're using today. Zoom is nothing's perfect in this, by the way, because there are always going to be network and communications and glitches in IT. There just always are. But in terms of the resilience of them all, the best one is Zoom by far, and the easiest to use. Teams, I don't fancy myself. I think it's a bit clunky to use. And I did a lot of research into different platforms, testing them rigorously. And as I say, the best one in terms of it just works most of the time is Zoom. So we don't have a platform to integrate because it's not necessary. Zoom does the job. You've got a whiteboard, you've got breakout rooms to have students in separate rooms, yet do a group session where you can just drop in and watch what they're doing. So yeah, that's the answer, and I hope
Fantastic. Chris, you're doing great. Aditya has just brought a question and has apologized in case this has been covered already, which it has, but it's still worth repeating. She wants to know whether the tutor needs to find the students or does the website help her to find students?
Okay. We're promoting, okay, yeah, we'll reiterate. We're promoting our subscription to our study program, which includes Shop to Learn, which I'm about to show you. So that's what we're focusing on. But we're also promoting the fact that we have a directory of tutors from whom our customers on the subscription can choose. Now, our subscription is only £2.40 a week, as I've said before. And if they come in through you, they're £1, it's £1.80 because you can offer them a discount per week. So when someone subscribes with us, that comes to us through our marketing efforts, and they say, and they've looked through the tutor directory and say, I want to talk to William, we then put William in touch with the family to talk about what the tuition is going to be, what the price is. And just to reiterate, we don't take any element of that. That's for the tutor to keep. So there's no 20 or 25%, which means, by the way, we would hope and encourage that tutors charge a price which reflects what they want or need out of it. So rather than matching what they may be charged out at through Tutorful, charge out at a price that's between the Tutorful price and what you get out of Tutorful, because they take quite a lot of it, I understand, so that you're looking at a competitive price for tutoring, but you're actually getting more than you would through an agency.
This is my favorite part, Chris. Fair
Sure.
price for a fair service. Very, very compelling. Chetna, welcome back. I'm so glad that you came back to us. Chris, go ahead, please. I will stop interrupting you for a bit.
No, that's fine. Right, I'm going to move on to the third part, which is Shop to Learn, which
Fantastic.
is it's actually an employee benefit savings scheme, but we make it available to our customers and to our tutors. To members of QT, instead of the £2.40 or indeed £1.80 per week, for one subscription, you can have it at 80 pence per week.
Let me
There's
just
no,
pause you for a second here. Sorry. There have been some questions about the code. When you're a qualified tutor member, you get access to the special discount codes that Chris and I have
Yeah.
found for you. So we
actually,
will.
sorry, Jack, can I just interrupt there? Is for members, the special 80 pence price is not a code, it's a page.
Oh, no, absolutely.
So
All of the access is going to come through qualified tutor membership, Yvonne. So we will
No,
email
it's
you
free.
with the follow-up from this. You'll be invited to become a qualified tutor member if you're not already.
Why it's
And then
free?
you
You can see
check that,
some. This is
and then you'll have access to those codes. I didn't want you to feel confused about that. I'm so sorry to have interrupted you again.
okay, no, it's no problem. So what Shop to Learn is just more or less anything you can think of that you spend money on, you can get a savings on it. In the same way that other employee benefit saving schemes work. And the families get that. From our point of view, it offsets the price of the subscription. And indeed, if they use it pretty well, it'll offset the cost of the tutoring as well as that. So just to give you some illustrations of the sorts of things that we've got savings in. So if you look in electricals and tech.
Can you show us that on the drop down, Chris?
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, show us Shop to Learn. Oh, yes.
Okay. So we're looking in the electricals and tech section. And so you can get 15% off Philips stuff at the moment, 20% off KitchenAid stuff. That's gone up even higher. 50% off any Hotpoint stuff at the moment. And there's some good stuff here. So 10% off Samsung, 5.5% off Currys stuff, 20% off EE contract. So you can see that if you use this, you can actually make substantial savings, which don't not only offset the cost of our subscription, but they also offset the cost of the tuition itself. If we look at a different section, we look at supermarkets. See, an average family of 4, look at the savings you can get in M&S, Asda. There's also Sainsbury, Tesco. An average family of 4 is going to save more than the £2.40 or £1.80 that they will be paying for the subscription. They'll save more than that just through using Shop to Learn on only their supermarket shopping, let alone all of the other stuff that there is. So there's travel, leisure, entertainment. Again, it ties into what families spend money on. Days out. Cinema is actually 40% off on Cineworld and Odeon, which you can just an online thing. Holidays. So Alton Towers, 15% off. Butlins, blah, blah, blah. Lots of stuff, London Eye. And it all helps. And it gives a good feeling to the family as well. And if you think about it, it also acts as a part of a motivation on the family. They can see that as a consequence of the tutoring or this, they're also getting something which benefits the family as a whole. Free case of wine, that's not bad. 8 free craft beers. Okay, so you can see there's just lots and lots of stuff, and I've only really shown you just a few of the things that are available through Shop to Learn. And just to reiterate, QT members get access to this for 80 pence a week, no long-term commitment, and that's it. And for and they also obviously get one access to the study program, and for customers, there's access to a £1.80 per week instead of £2.40 for subscription and membership of Shop to Learn.
I think I'd love to know whether there are any questions about this third part of Chris's presentation, because I'm going to have to wrap up soon and I want to make sure that we've answered all your questions. Emanuela, Yvonne, Rachel, Shalini, Aditya, Chetna, Leon, do you have any questions for us? Is this a resource that you find compelling? And would you be interested in promoting it to parents so that it's a additional benefit to them? Do you think that parents would find it something that is intuitive and of service, or is it confusing? What are your thoughts?
From what I've seen, it looks good. I would like to promote it to the parents. My only reservation is probably because I don't understand all of it, is if I get one of my students who have worked to procure onto the platform, are they going to have access to the list of other students that the platform?
Now the tutors.
Yeah.
We're not going to.
My only reservation, because
we're not going to urge them to do that.
Right.
So we're not. We don't bombard them with marketing material saying, "Hey, look at this tutor. He or she is great. Sign up." But they will obviously have access to the website to log into Shop to Learn.
Right.
Whether they go off and look at other tutors, I suppose that's the same as, are they going to go and look on Tutor Fair or Tutor4 or whoever else?
Sure. Yes.
I think it's a really, really helpful question. We have an approach in Qualified Tutor that we believe that tutors are colleagues, not competitors. And I would suggest, Emanuela, what's your subject?
Maths and English, primarily.
Oh, primary, right. Okay, very good. So you would be, so in secondary, tutors very often have a recommended chemistry tutor that complements the physics tutor. And so what we would suggest would be that rather than saying that we need to hold on to our students and keep them for ourselves, we actually know who to pass them on to next when they move into secondary school, what will be the next route for them. So we tend to feel that opening our students up to more learning doesn't limit us. It's to our credit. I also think that Chris made a really important point early on, which is that the learning platform is not full of promotional material, because that's not appropriate for the student. So I have seen platforms where there genuinely are pop-ups in the middle of a lesson that says book a tutor here, which is distracting. It's not in service of the learning, not at all what's appropriate. And we've had demos like this where those creators have been really challenged in these conversations because they're not doing the right thing. What I've seen from Chris is that he's thoroughly in service of independent tutors and wouldn't create a conflict such as the one that you've pointed out.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. And I'm totally for passing on students when they go towards their secondary school. And yeah.
Also, if I may jump in, sorry, it's David here.
No, David, we don't know that you're family and part of this yet. You need to introduce yourself first.
Okay, so hi, my name's David. I work with Chris in EdHeads. I do a lot of work with tutors, marketing, social media, things like that. But just basically, I was just thinking this, rather than seeing it as a threat, it's an opportunity to build relationships with tutors that may complement what you do. So as you said, you're in maths and English. If you say, okay, if someone's looking for science or another subject that is at the same level that you offer, but not your speciality, you could then say, right, well, I'll build a relationship with another tutor that does offer that. And then the two of you, or even more of you, if you build a network between yourselves, can be passing students back and forth between each other, working together to offer a completely holistic service to these students. So it's like, wow, it's a one-stop shop. We know exactly, the quality that we're working with. And so you will benefit potentially long-term from that. So that's just another way of looking at it.
You've just reminded me why I love tutoring, David. That's what we're all about here. Chris, would you mind stopping the share? Because I'm going to start wrapping up this conversation.
If I can just lastly.
Yeah.
So if anyone does want to register on the directory, here are my contact details.
Yes. Oh, scroll down a bit, please. We can't quite see.
Scroll down. Chris at edheads.co.uk.
Oh, I'm so sorry. My chat was blocking it. Yeah.
So Chris at edheads.co.uk. There's a hyphen between ed and heads. And here's my phone number here. So if you want to quickly make a note of that. If you want to be on the registry, just send an email to me with a brief description of what you do, what subject, what level, and how much you charge, and a headshot, please, to go on the page.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will stop sharing now.
Thank you so, so much. So I will take a minute just before we wrap up to share with you what and why Qualified Tutor is and why we're in support of EdHeads and tools like EdHeads. Qualified Tutor was created by my background is in school leadership, and hello Yvonne Harrop, nice to see you. And I realized that no one was supporting tutors in the way that teachers are supported by, you know, the way that I used to support my teachers in school. I wanted to bring that kind of support to tutors. And that means providing education. It means elevating you. It means empowering you to do your best work. And working with partners like Chris and David enables us to do that. So, a study tool that you can plug into saves you time, saves you money, creates this sort of responsible, reliable experience for students. And those are the kind of things that we're all about. Our events are love tutoring events. That's what we call them. We run them all through the year, and you can participate in the one. The next one is coming up at the end of January, and that's a hybrid event. We will be live at the BET conference in London, and we'll be running an awesome hybrid experience so that if you join us online, you will be knocked out by a really memorable digital experience. We hope that you'll join that. But the best way to get involved in Qualified Tutor is to become a member. And when you become a member of Qualified Tutor, you have access to community support, training, development, and certification. So we certify tutors based on whether they have enhanced DBS on the update service, safeguarding training, insurance, terms and conditions, and verified client reviews. When you can confirm those 5 elements, we can certify you. Our certification is externally quality assured, and it adheres to the highest standards of what we expect parents should be looking for in tutors. Once you complete certification, you can continue to level up with us. For no extra charge, we will award you based on your expertise and your experience. Yvonne, have you done the awards yet?
I've certainly got the certified, excuse my voice, because I've completely got laryngitis and all sorts. It's Christmas holidays.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I've got the certified.
Excellent.
I did apply to level up, but I haven't heard anything. So
okay, fantastic. Good. Well, you will get a whole sequence of emails coming up for you in January. But the point is, we are all about growth. And we're all about helping tutors to continue to develop. And Manuela, we must be standing on a very strong and elevated platform, because the difference that we're making for students is immense. And we work together as colleagues to do that work together. And then we show up for parents and we say, don't be shy. Tutoring is not plan B. Tutoring is an awesome option for your students. School can't do everything. Teachers can't do everything. Our kids are struggling. Let's find ways to help them. So that's what it means to be a Qualified Tutor member. I would be delighted to welcome you in. And we will email you about all of those things right now. Chris, thank you so much for another consistently awesome presentation. Very clear, very relatable, and very easy for us to understand. Exactly like you said, the parents, we get it. We get what you're doing and why. So thank you so much for presenting today. I am astonished that so many of us arrived on during the silly season. I am definitely going to go and wind down and snuggle my kids and watch far too much Netflix for the rest of the day. Thank you, Emanuela, for participating. Thank you, David. Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Shalini. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Chetna. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for all the people, the lovely people on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.